every second the baby's inside is a good day.
It's a good day, that's it.
It's like the development
It's
that's
the weirdest
happening.
thing.
It's like, it's
You go from wishing that baby's going to be there to desperately hoping it just stays
inside.
where they are.
Literally stay inside.
To my beautiful girls, your smiles warm my heart. You turn bad days into good evenings. I promise to listen, to share, to guide, to provide, to protect, to love. All that is mine is yours. This is Stories by Emeka, the Fatherhood series.
Yeah.
Welcome, Lee.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. We're going to find out. No.
All right. So you know what your challenge is today, right?
Try and hit it straight.
So my previous guest is a 112.
Yeah.
All right. Mine is 188. See what you can
Show
do
off.
today.
All right. No problem.
So yeah, just to get it started in regards to fatherhood. So this is what today's all about.
Yeah.
All right. Being fathers. So my first question to you is, the first 3 words that come to your mind that describe you as a father.
Intolerant.
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 We're gonna break these down.
Loving.
Okay.
And kind at times.
Kind at times. Okay.
I like to think so anyway, man.
So intolerant. Why would you say that?
Oh, I don't have enough patience, man.
Yeah?
I don't have enough patience for my kids.
At which point? As in when they were babies or
All the time.
age?
No, it don't matter. They're well annoying, man.
Okay.
I
So
love
how old are
patience.
they? Let's talk about
I've
how.
got one's 15 and one's 5.
Okay. Boys, girls.
Both girls.
Both girls.
Both girls.
All right. So intolerant. So okay. What does that mean for you today?
See, they both like to say dad a lot.
Yeah.
Ask me stuff,
Yeah.
and then I pay them attention. And they're just standing there like that. This is the 15-year-old as well. There's no difference, honestly. And it's just, all right. But then after the 5th, 6th time of doing that,
Yeah.
no. I just get a little abrupt. I don't mean to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of my failings, to be fair.
All right.
I thought I'd better throw 2 good things and a failing in there.
Yeah.
Just balance it out a little.
So the loving part. So how do you express your love to your children? Are you more of a spending time? Are you more of a gift
I try.
type of person?
I know.
You know?
I don't like buying kids stuff.
Okay.
Because they want enough stuff
Yeah.
without me buying it for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, time.
Time.
That's what I've learned.
Okay.
I didn't spend enough time with my first one when she was little, so I've learned from that.
Yeah.
I got myself a different job, and now I spend all the time that I can with them.
Okay. So
So-
when you say time, was that mainly because of the work that you were doing at the time?
Yeah, and where I was working. I was
Yeah.
travelling, I don't drive, so
Yeah.
I was travelling into London. It could be 2-3 hours one way,
Yeah.
and then you got that return after a 10 or 12 hour day.
Yeah.
So I was out the house on average for about 15, 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I never saw my kids, man. I
Yeah.
got to read them a bedtime, or my big girl, I got to read her a bedtime story,
Yeah.
and maybe if I was lucky I'd see her in the morning.
Yeah.
And it just...
tough, isn't it?
It's crap.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough.
So in terms of the age gap, 10 years.
Yeah,
Because
long time, man.
I'm similar. So
Oh, yeah?
what was the So I've got an 11-year-old, I've got a 2-year-old now,
Right.
and a newborn. So literally,
You're a busy boy.
as well, similar to you in terms of 3 girls as well. So it's trying to understand the dynamics of what that looks like in the future as they continue to grow. So
You just get more and more outnumbered, my friend.
So you've got a 15-year-old, so I can't even begin to imagine, because I already feel like I'm raising a 17-year-old and
Yeah,
she's
that's
only
it.
11,
Mate,
you know?
girls, they think they're so much more mature
Yeah.
and bigger than they are. And like they get past about 6, 7, 8 and they start knowing stuff and they start trying to be like mum.
Yeah.
And yeah, you just get boxed into a corner.
And with social media and access of all the information that they have, and it feels like that growth it's speeding up.
It's too
like,
quick.
how do you know this
Yeah,
already?
it is,
You know?
it is.
So I feel like I'm always on guard in regards to
What you're
trying
saying.
to what I'm saying, trying to understand what you have access to
Yes.
because
Yeah.
of school,
That's
because
it.
you can't.
You can't govern them all the time.
Exactly.
You can't find them.
You know. So my thing is more of trying to educate and pass on enough information that if situations do occur that her head's screwed on, that she can make the right choices
That
at the
is
right
all you
time.
can do.
You know, which
And
is
always be there for them.
yeah,
Whenever they got a question, make sure that they know that you're
Yeah.
always going to have an answer, or if you're not going to have an answer, you're going to be there.
yeah,
It's
Yeah.
I think that's the best you can do,
Yeah.
to be fair. You can't be with them all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to trust them. You've got to hope that they've got enough
Yeah.
savvy to look after themselves to a certain extent,
Yeah.
especially with girls.
That's
They
true.
need to be made aware of all the dangers and of what life is.
Yeah.
Because I think it's different being a girl than it is being a boy,
Yeah.
especially nowadays.
Do you think you'll be different if you had a boy in terms of how you've raised? I see your face
Yeah,
already.
man,
yeah?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how though.
Yeah,
I don't
it's,
know
always,
how.
it's a hard question to.
It's because I've got to
answer
imagine it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you all day long what I imagined I'd be like with any of my children.
Yeah.
I'm nothing like I imagined I was going to be.
Mm.
I was going to be the cool dad. I was going
Yeah.
to let them do this. I was going to let them do that. No, they're not allowed to do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
It's I don't know because it's a journey for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But Lee, 56 yards. You're nowhere near what needs to be done
Shame.
today.
The shame of
Grab
it.
some balls. No, you've
Oh,
got
is it
4
me
in a
again?
row. You've got
Oh.
5 in a row, and then we'll take it from there. Let me just
I didn't
throw some
realise
out.
that.
Yeah. Get some out there.
What is going on with my phone?
All right.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Go through.
Right, 4 in a row, is it? I'm going to need these 4. I have no idea where that went, man.
Did that register?
Come
Yes,
on.
It did. That looks good. Are you off course?
Oh, well, of course.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay, you've already beat Obi.
that's better than the last one. I'm coming for you, man.
You've already beat Obi. All right, Obi, sorry, man.
He was the first. He broke us all in. See, look at that. 3 foot. Is that the last one?
No, you've got 2 more.
Oh. For the love of God. Right. I don't think I'm beating you.
No, you still got time. It's still there, Lee. It's still there.
I know. Come on,
Okay.
where'd that go?
It's not too bad.
Still ain't beat me first one, but. Is that you?
Okay.
Oh, I did beat the last one.
Oh.
Oh! Come on, man.
Okay.
You watch, she's going to get a 200 yarder now. Oh, you go from the floor.
So, when you first realised you was going to be a dad for your first child,
Yeah.
what was your feelings
I
around
was
it?
ecstatic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
talk to me about that.
It was Christmas Eve, I think, when we found out. Like we did the test. Look at that, like a bullet. When we did the test.
Yeah.
And I went running around the pub, man, telling everyone.
So-
Yeah, even barmaids I didn't even know. I was well excited. Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say you felt prepared?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I hoped and I planned, but fatherhood I don't think I've ever been prepared for.
Yeah.
Or ever will be.
Sort of learning on the job then.
It is.
Yeah?
It really is, I think. They're always doing something new,
Yeah.
something mad.
So tell me. So when the baby arrived, and you saw that you had a baby girl, what was your feeling? Was you there?
Yeah.
You was okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes for my middle child, I didn't make it, but we're gonna get into. We're gonna get into
Didn't
that.
get there for my second one either.
Yeah. So it's quite disappointing, but it was good that you were there. So how did you feel throughout that whole process?
A little bit numb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and totally useless. Just standing there watching people doing all this stuff to my wife. And
That's an interesting point because it's like you almost feel like what I said to my wife is that the only thing I'm required from you is just cut your nails.
no blood, no blood.
It's just literally digging into my skin. I'm like, cut your nails. Anything else I can take, but almost feels like all you can do is just be supporting, and even that
That is
it feels
exactly
redundant
it.
sometimes
Yeah,
because it's like
'cause
they're
you're just
doing all
saying
the
the
work.
same stuff.
You know, yes, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be. It's gonna,
You
but
can only
really,
say that so many times, and then they start getting angry with you. It's like, just shut up. All right, I'm sorry.
I had a friend that I think he was checking the time on the phone, but there's literally a clock in the room, so she went crazy. She goes,
Don't even
I'm
care
gonna
about
throw
me.
that phone in your face. Get off the phone.
Yeah, no, luckily I didn't do that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was different, an experience for definite. Go on, man. Yeah.
How long is it from start to finish? Was it
What, the birth?
yeah.
That was 6.5 hours.
Okay.
So not long at all.
Yeah.
She was in and out.
Yeah.
Even quicker with the second one,
Yeah.
randomly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's for me it's that joy of once the baby was born. It's like seeing it like a miracle happen. It's like,
It is, man.
you know, there's just so many things involved in having a child.
Yeah.
And then
you
once
don't realise that before it happens either.
Yeah.
The turning the baby, different things that they've got to do before
Yeah.
they're ready.
Yeah, because for me it's just like, especially with my first child, it was like my life changed in that moment.
Yeah.
In terms of my mindset, my responsibilities.
That is a bit of a shock, isn't it?
Yeah. So how was that for you in regards to how you started to reevaluate what things you needed to do?
I just realised I needed to grow up a lot.
Yeah.
And quick, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't feel, as soon as she actually turned up and I saw her and I held her, like everything changed.
Yeah.
I don't really know if I can describe how. All of a sudden I had someone else that I was totally responsible for.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything. And I think I felt a bit pressured, to
Yeah?
be fair. Yeah. It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm not someone that ever dealt with responsibility very well before I had my kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a culture shock.
So far you're beating me in this one, so we're going to go again. Let's see. So you said it's a bit of a shock for you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Even though I'd been preparing myself,
Yeah.
it was like I was just pretending
Yeah.
before. And then once she actually turned up, it's real.
Yeah.
And that was I was more shocked about that, I think.
Yeah.
Just the way I felt.
Yeah.
Sort of numbed everything,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. So in terms of your relationship with your partner, would you say what did the dynamics change once the child came?
Not really, she was always in charge. Yeah, so I just carried on doing what I was told, just
Yeah.
under a bit more pressure.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You have to know your place and
Yeah,
play the game.
To be fair,
If you want peace of mind, isn't it?
that is what it is as well, it's a game.
Yeah.
Because I'll boss her, she bosses me, she
Yeah.
just does it better.
Yeah, it's true. Women are very tactical in
They
how
are,
they get
man.
things done.
They're clever. They don't do anything without a plan.
Oh gosh.
Still better than my worst one. That's it.
I need to beat my 188, but not sure.
Not today, man. Oh! You're getting it, though. 177 again.
Again.
Woo!
Swing and a miss.
Not just me.
So fast forward to your second child.
Yep.
Talk to me about that in terms of your experience around that, because I feel like we share a very similar story.
Yeah, for the second one, I think.
in this particular, and a lot of people don't realise the amount of emotional stress
Mate, it's unreal.
that we go through. But yeah, talk to us about what happened.
My second one, we had a lot of problems between my first one and my second one.
Yeah,
So we weren't really expecting the second one to turn up. And then she did,
Yeah.
and we were ecstatic. So, yeah, it was like happy times. But
Yeah.
right from the start, she was having problems.
Yeah.
So baby was growing all right,
Yeah.
but Ashley was getting pains and just random stuff that she shouldn't be getting.
Yeah.
So the doctor said she had to be on complete bed rest. So she did. And then it got to about 24 weeks gone,
yeah,
maybe 25 weeks. And Ashley said that her waters had broken.
crazy.
So we rushed up to the hospital. The hospital sent us to Queen Charlotte's. We spent 24 hours up there, and they told my wife that her waters hadn't broken. It was the test that they'd done at the previous hospital was wrong, and
Yeah.
she just wet herself. Now that really upset her, made her mad. So we went home,
Oh, they sent you back home?
Yeah, they sent us home. They said there was nothing more they could do. She just had an accident, and that was that. So then 3 days later, the rest of the waters broke. They rushed us back up to the hospital. Hillingdon Hospital, it was too early. Their neonatal ward didn't go to the right class.
Yeah.
So they sent us to St George's.
Okay.
And man, as soon as we got to St George's, we felt a lot easier.
Yeah.
They were very competent. They made us feel safe.
They knew what they were doing in St George's, don't they?
They really do.
Yeah.
They really, really do. So yeah, I spent a week sleeping on a chair there. And then I sort of gave up staying there, so to speak, because I had work, not harassing me, but asking me to come back.
Yeah.
I've just started managing a few sites for them.
Yeah. So at this point, the baby hadn't arrived yet.
No,
So she was just being monitored.
Yeah, she
Okay.
was just. They were keeping an eye on her because they were almost certain baby was coming,
Yeah.
but they just didn't know when. The waters had broken. Everything should have been in action, but nothing was going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I went into work that day, about 2 hours away from the hospital.
Yeah.
There was no one turned up at site, so I phoned up my boss and I said, look, I want to go back to the hospital, and they said they got shirty with me, and they said no, either come back to the workshop, which was in Ruislip, or you won't get paid for today.
Yeah.
I'd already wasted half a day, so all right, no bother. So I literally walked in the workshop door, and I got a phone call from the hospital saying that she was having the baby there and then. So I jumped in a cab. Amazingly, that cab driver got me like 40 miles in 25 minutes or 35 minutes.
That's the real MVP. That's a
Mate,
great, that's a great driver.
it was
there.
nearly as good as the ambulance the first time. But yeah, and by the time I got there, baby was there.
Yeah. How did that make you feel, sort of missing that?
I was screwing.
Yeah.
To be fair, I was livid, mostly with the boss,
Yeah.
a little bit with life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to be there for her because she was so panicked
Yeah.
about everything that was going on, like my wife.
So when did the baby arrive? What week?
26.
26 weeks.
26 weeks.
Yeah. So
26-1, I think it was.
26-1. So similar to you in terms of, with my second daughter, me and my wife were getting ready to go out, and she said she can feel sort of water on her legs. I was like, surely not, because
No,
you don't even,
it's not, we're not ready for that.
Yeah,
No, it's
like
not time.
the baby's due in May. This is,
It's
this
like
isn't
December.
when February.
Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense. Her brother's a doctor. She calls her brother, and then he says gets to A&E straight away. We get there, and still the water's still coming. So we're like, she's panicking. I'm panicking, thinking, like, what's happening?
Yeah, man.
And so they take us up to the ward. They monitor her, and then, sort of long story short, she stayed in hospital for a week.
Yeah.
So literally at this stage, it's like every second the baby's inside is a good day.
It's a good day, that's it.
It's like the development
It's the
that's
weirdest
happening. It's like it's
You go from wishing that baby's going to be there to desperately hoping it just
stay
stays
inside.
where they are. Stay there.
stay inside. So I think after a week, so obviously the steroid injections, all of that, and then they said, "Oh, we're happy for you to go home." So literally, we went back home, and within 2-3 days, it's back in the hospital. I'm at work at this point, so I'm getting a call from her dad, and I'm in. It's parents' evening, so I'm a teacher, so it's parents' evening. I'm in the middle of a conversation with a parent.
The phone won't stop.
So my phone's vibrating, and I'm like, I need to take this because it doesn't make sense. He doesn't normally call me like this.
It's a one-time thing, isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
And so it's happening. And so bear in mind, I work in East London, St George's is all the way in South London.
Yeah, man, it's a way.
Rush hour traffic at this point. And so I literally just finished up with that parent. I was finishing anyway. I just said to the rest of the parents, I just need to go. And then I'll let my manager sort of explain what's happening. So as I'm running, get into the car, eventually get to the hospital, and I didn't make it. Clearly, because it's over an hour journey.
Yeah.
So the baby's come, similar to you, 26 weeks, and so this is when the journey starts.
Yeah, man.
And I remember seeing my daughter, the incubator.
Yeah.
And
you can't
she
touch him.
Yeah, can't. She was like this.
They're so
literally
small, man.
835 grams.
Mine was 855.
So that was seeing her in what was I consider very vulnerable state. I don't know, it's like there's a tear that came to my eye during that period because it's like, it's not meant to be like. How was it for you once that happened at 20? Because this is very early. It's like, it's,
man,
you know?
The odds aren't great at that age.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, I spent 6 months being absolutely terrified.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as she came out,
Yeah.
she spent the first week or two really improving fantastically.
Yeah.
So we were just little buckets of hope.
Yeah.
Everything was going great, everything was cool. And then everything started going wrong. We put her on something called an Elfin trial as well. I don't know if they offered that to you.
Oh, what's it called?
Elfin.
Okay.
It's something to do with mum's milk.
Okay.
So we put her on that, and then she developed something called NEC, necro and something.
Yeah.
And it basically is something that eats all the large intestine.
Yeah.
It's an infection. So she caught that. 2 weeks later, they were still trying to cure it with this Elfin trial.
Yeah.
And I said to him, look, it's not working. I need to speak to a surgeon about her because we need to do something. So they held her off for another day. Then she caught septicemia as well.
Yeah.
So then I told them to take her off of the trial and that somebody else needed to come and see her. So they did. They got another doctor in. The doctor took her straight into emergency surgery. They did the operation. She had a total ileostomy. So they took all of her large intestine out and another bit of something.
Yeah.
And they've just left her with a little stoma
Yeah.
and a stoma bag. And that month was awful because I got a bit weak, to be fair, and I was a little bit scared of going to the hospital, so I went back to work. That wasn't the only reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then things started to improve, all of it, but her cut wouldn't heal.
Yeah.
She's got a cut that goes all the way across her stomach from the operation. That wouldn't heal, then she got septicemia again,
Yeah.
then she got pneumonia.
Yeah.
And then they managed to get rid of those, and the cut still wasn't healing.
Yeah.
So then magically they brought out Manuka honey. Manuka honey.
Okay.
I love this stuff. It's in my tea every day.
Yeah.
But they covered the wound in Manuka honey within a week. It was near enough gone.
Oh wow. So whose idea was that? How did that?
One of the doctors.
Okay.
Because apparently it's got great antibacterial properties.
Yeah.
And yeah, it worked a treat, man. Never
Yeah.
knew anything like that before then.
Okay. So at this stage, how long have you been in hospital at this stage?
3 months.
3 months.
3 months, I think.
So did you get an idea of how long this process was going to take?
Nope.
They didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Because they weren't sure, because she kept getting things going wrong.
Yeah.
They kept stretching everything out.
Yeah.
And then because she kept getting them, because she had septicemia 3 times.
Yeah.
They were never really. Every time it started looking like we were going to go,
Yeah.
or we'd get a chance to go or a date, then something else had happened.
Yeah.
She was a little roller coaster, bless her.
Yeah. Because for me, in my head, I don't know where I got this from, but I felt like we're working towards the original due date.
Yes.
In regards to.
Because that's what they tell you.
Yeah.
Well, they don't tell you specifically, but
Yeah,
they kind of make you
it's
aim
there,
for
isn't
that.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm aiming.
Once you get to that due date, then you're pretty much on the road.
Yeah.
And you're going.
Because I'm thinking to myself, that's 12 weeks. And at that point, it's like I had a friend who, she had a daughter at 27 weeks.
Okay.
So she spent 9 weeks. So it's like, that was my hope that I was
Yeah.
clinging on to, not knowing that my journey was, it's totally different to, and that's what they say as well, that each baby is different.
Everyone, man.
You know? And I remember after the baby was born, we've seen the baby, and then one of the consultants calls us into a room. Very straight face. And
That's not
I was looking at my wife and I'm like, I don't like the energy.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. And she said that there's a bleed in the brain.
Yeah, well that's amazingly common. You
Yeah.
don't realise.
But at the time, you don't know that.
Mind's blown, isn't it? What's
What
happening?
do you
What's
mean-
going to happen?
What do you mean the brain is bleeding? It doesn't even like.
They say it to each other so commonly that they don't realise what saying a sentence like that does
Yeah.
to a parent.
So So in my head, I'm thinking worst case scenario now.
Yeah, my
because,
baby's having a stroke or something. Yeah.
But again, with that sort of prematurity at that age, it's something that's coming and they know how to deal with it. But they just have
so
to.
thin.
They have to go through the process
Yeah.
of telling us that, and I was just in the state of, what is this? Like, why is this happening? You know, we start asking yourself this question: why is this happening to us? But then you look around and you realize
It's not just
there's
happening
a
to
whole
you.
unit
Yeah.
of people who are going through. You know, there's somebody here who's 24 weeks.
Yeah.
And then apparently there's a cut-off point, literally anything less than 24, they're not even trying to save that child anymore. So you now count your blessings that you made it to 26 rather than 25.
Oh, yeah, man.
And then the people who made it to 28, you were wishing that, you know,
You
if
wishing
you
that
made
you
it,
would have
had extra 2 weeks because
Yeah.
of that developmental nature. Oxygen, how's,
that destroyed her throat.
yeah?
Absolutely destroyed her throat.
Yeah.
Uh,
BiPAP, CPAP, EPAP,
yeah,
there's
it's
just so many different
everything.
things.
All them paps.
Literally. Like,
But I never realised again that dries out the windpipe and the larynx.
yeah.
And yeah, it cracked all of her larynx. So there was a little while, month or so, where we thought she was never going to talk
Yeah.
because she kept crying like a little mouse or little cat. You just hear these little meows
Yeah.
coming out of the hole.
So there's not enough sound coming out.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, you could see her crying
Yeah.
and no sound at all. And you got your ear in the hole and you're like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
You spoke to the doctor and they said, yeah, it's because of the CPAP. It burned her larynx
Yeah.
and she might not talk.
Yeah. With the neonatal ward, especially at St. George's, it's like there's different stages.
Yeah.
So you've got the ICU, which is where you first start off,
Yeah.
and then you go to high dependency,
Yeah. No.
and then
we never got there.
You never got
Never
there?
got there, man. Never got there.
So you just stayed in ICU the whole
We
time?
stayed in ICU at St George's the whole time, and then
Wow.
they moved us from there to the ICU over at Hillingdon Hospital.
Okay, because like you said, there was a lot more complications and
That's the thing.
operations. that
It
can
sounds
happen.
like your one fought a little harder. She didn't get the
Yeah.
tummy stuff because
Yeah.
that was what really hurt my one.
Yeah.
Because once her body was trying to cope with all of that as well,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't have enough strength to fight the viruses and infections and anything else.
Yeah. Because we went from sort of ICU, then we sort of gone to high dependency, and then just before you're supposed to be leaving, you go to special care unit.
Yeah.
So eventually, when we
I
made it
dreamed
to
of that place, man.
special care unit, I thought, okay, we're at the home stretch now. Not knowing that special care, we were going to stay the longest in special care. It was
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, we stayed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we stayed. I think we stayed in special care out of the 6 months we were in hospital. I think roughly about half that time. So in my head, that's supposed to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then
man,
we're
that must
gone.
have been driving you mad.
That was literally, it was just, the whole experience was hard in terms of, obviously, initially you're working towards that due date of 3 months, and then now it's now 6 months,
Yeah.
you know.
When
And
you
I
see
think
the
what made
goalposts
it,
moving away, man, it
yeah,
makes it hard, doesn't it?
what made it difficult is just before we were about to be going home, because we thought we were going home with oxygen, because it was taking
Oh,
long
they said
for
that
her.
to us as well. Yeah.
Taking long for her to sort of wean off the oxygen. So we've gone from, you know, BiPAP, CPAP, whatever you want to call it, to eventually going into higher flow,
Yeah.
and so on and so forth. But then eventually they said that that they want to check her breathing, because we were saying that we don't think that she cries with sound.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when they decided to start investigating, and eventually they sort of, the ENT team looked through her windpipe, and there was a cyst in there,
Okay.
and then they had to do something called an MLB.
Right.
So it's like a procedure. They have to put her under, and so on and so forth, and so that process obviously extended our time.
Yeah, because then she's got to recover from that
Yeah,
as well.
recover, and then they need to see how she is sort of recovering and coping. So, but yeah, that whole experience is very, very difficult. You know, during this period. So it's your turn again.
Oh, is it me again? Thanks.
Where was your other child at this point? Who was looking after her? Obviously, your wife was at the hospital.
Yeah.
You was going back and forth with work.
Luckily, my mum was still alive back then,
Okay.
and she didn't live far from my daughter's school, so on and so forth. So my oldest daughter went and stayed with her,
Yeah.
and I travelled between the hospital, staying at the Ronald McDonald,
Yeah.
going to work, and then every other day I would go back to my mum's house, see my other daughter, see the dogs,
Yeah.
and then the next day I'd stay at Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
So that was quite an exciting ride as well. Spent a lot of time on trains.
That's
Oh,
a
I
hit.
like it on the floor.
That's a hit.
Why has it gone over there though?
That's a hit, but I think that might be going away.
That's not counted, is it?
No, it's not.
Ah,
It's not.
loser.
So what was the impact on your daughter? Even though your mum was there, but obviously
We're still
she
trying
must
to
have
work
been
that out, to
concerned.
be fair. We're still trying to work that out.
Yeah,
Because me and my wife, we didn't spend enough time with her. Obviously, we couldn't.
yeah,
But we tried to involve her as much as we could.
yeah,
So, like weekends and stuff, I'd bring her up to the hospital. She'd stay there with us, come and see baby.
yeah,
But the age she was, 10, 11,
yeah,
she really needed, it was the worst time it could have happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
She was just starting to get her hormones and everything coming through. She
Yeah.
it was a major growth stage
yeah,
for her. And I lost a lot of the bond that I got with her
that's a
because
good
of
hit.
it.
Yeah,
And that kills me. Because now I was so stressed. I wasn't, come on, why not?
just
Yes!
It
Oh,
does-
it's off!
It's off. It doesn't count.
Beautiful. I'm
192.
aiming that
It
way
does
now.
not count.
Oh. Right, focus.
That's,
Straight, it's gone too high.
yeah, it's too high. It's a good distance. But you're saying you lost the bond.
Yeah, well, didn't lose the bond. It's the closeness that came with a bond. I can't explain it properly. There's a bit that's changed in our relationship.
Yeah,
And I think it is just because I wasn't there, because she was stressing and worried about her mum, her
Yeah.
sister. And yeah, I can't explain it. I can't articulate it,
yeah. It's a good hit.
unfortunately. There is now, something has changed. I really can't. I don't know what it is,
Yeah,
but it is slowly coming back.
that's a good one. That might be the one.
Is that the one?
I think so.
Come on, baby. That'd be nice. 2 out of 5 ain't bad, is it? No!
Still not that 188 though.
Oh,
You're getting there. But in terms of sort of coming towards the end of the journey, when you now knew everything was going to be okay
yeah.
with your daughter, what was that feeling like? Because obviously you were transferred from St. George's. When did the transfer happen from St. George's to Hillingdon?
After 5 months.
Okay. And then the last month was that?
And the last month was at Hillingdon, but we didn't have a good experience at Hillingdon.
Okay. They weren't as good as
Nah.
the care that you got from...
Nah, they were terrible.
What was the start difference?
The way they treated us.
Yeah.
We were secondary to them.
Yeah.
So if we said something, we asked a question, where St. George's would explain everything to you, they'd
Yeah.
take you through it, they'd come with you
Yeah.
and bring you with them. Hillingdon Hospital was a little bit more, no, you go over there, we're doing this,
Yeah.
we'll tell you about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And now we'd spent 5 months being totally involved in every aspect of it, and that was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So, and the care was different as well. They had a doctor come in, and you know they do those little jabs in the feet.
Yeah. Yeah. The gas.
She tried to take 20 mils of blood out of my daughter's heel.
Yeah.
So she just squeezed it and squeezed it and squeezed it until it turned black, and then carried on squeezing it.
Yeah.
And then one of the nurses came in and said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And she said, "Oh, is that not the way I'm supposed to do it?" This was a doctor. So then we said, "Look, that doctor needs some retraining or something. We don't want her near our baby again."
Yeah.
And the hospital told us that if we continued to complain, then we wouldn't be allowed to see the baby.
How can they do that?
They're allowed. All they've got to do is say,
But
"I'm
can't
being
you? Don't you have the
unreasonable."
right to be concerned
No.
about that level of care,
Yeah,
especially
man.
if the
I
doctor
think I
looked
do.
incompetent or
I think I do.
yeah,
And we were never even told the doctor's name
yeah,
because they closed ranks on us. Because we expected something different to what we were getting,
yeah.
and that was standard for them. That was the way they did things.
Okay.
So yeah, that added a different twist, because then I didn't feel safe with my baby being in that hospital,
Yeah.
in that situation. So even after I found out that she was coming out, it still got a bit twisted up.
Yeah.
And I still shit myself daily about what's going to happen to her.
Yeah.
It's proper affecting me in the long term. I've never been scared for my first child, never.
Yeah.
Obviously, in a normal caring way. I don't want her to go there because it's dangerous.
Yeah,
I don't want. But I don't just wake up wondering if she's awake or alive.
Yeah.
You know, which I do with my little one.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
So when you've gone home now and you now have the realities of raising a preemie baby, you know, and knowing that certain things might be slightly delayed in regards to development, walking,
100%.
crawling, talking. What kind of things did you experience in terms of, okay, hospital's done now, you know that she's going to be okay, but there's a different worry, like you said now, in terms of development, and I'll speak to you from my experience, but what did you experience?
Oh, was it me again?
Yeah.
Is it?
So yeah, it's a new round, so
Ah.
it starts you off.
Sorry, say the last part of that question again.
So yeah, in terms of once you've left hospital, what was your experience in regards to development of your last born?
She is a lot slower. She's not slower. She is sharp as a tack, but she's a year or so behind.
Yeah.
So she's 5. She is smart as a tack for a 3.5-year-old, 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
She doesn't talk properly. She's got glasses. She's got terrible eyesight. Bless her.
Yeah. Crawling, did it take long for you? So
The
for
crawling
instance,
did take a little while.
Yeah.
Well, not the crawling. Getting from crawling to anything else took a while. She was crawling quite quick.
yeah,
But again, with a stoma bag, that would lead to trouble because sometimes she'd kneel on her stoma as she
Yeah.
was trying to crawl and stuff.
And the
so
pain.
then she'd stop trying.
yeah,
And yeah, it's difficult because it was just such a different situation to the last one
yeah,
that I was more wrapped up in trying to be there.
yeah,
Because this was what was different. I was always there with this one.
Yeah.
I came home from work, she was in my arm,
yeah,
and that was us for the night. So I think I have a stronger bond with this one than I do with my other one.
yeah.
Don't mean that like that. But it's a different, much
Like you've
closer.
learned from your experience, isn't it? From
Yeah.
the first time being a dad. Yeah.
I don't think that answered your question though, did it?
That's more height than distance, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Learning to do this, because she had a nose tube for her feeding.
Yeah.
Learning to do that was,
So you had to go home learning.
yeah, we got taught to do a stoma and a nose.
Yeah, that was wild. So just before, because thinking that we were gonna go home and
Everything was going to be perfect.
yeah, but because they want you to go home knowing that the child can feed.
Yeah.
And so that's part of sort of being able to put the NG tube down and then learning how to do the aspiration for the
Yes.
gases within the stomach and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it's like my wife couldn't bring herself to learn how to do that. So it's like,
It's harsh pushing that thing up
yeah,
their
because
nose,
it's
man.
like, because it's uncomfortable. I can't, even with just the COVID test that just goes,
I
just,
don't like that.
you know, that's like death, you
Yeah.
know. But to be able to now put that down, and that's going down to the stomach, knowing that if you want to leave this hospital, you need to learn how to do this.
Yeah. You learn.
You know, and so with the nurses, I had to do it, and it was like one of the worst things I'd done while I was in the hospital. So we're like, because there's periods where you keep that in, I think for like a few days or a week, and you have to do
try
it again.
to keep it in for as long as you can.
Yeah. So I'm like, there has to be another way because she wasn't sort of taken onto the bottle or breastfeeding properly. So
No, my one didn't either.
yeah, and so this was the difficulty in regards to, for you to now go home, this is the only way.
Yeah.
And so we kind of called in one of the breast specialists again,
Right.
and so she was working with my wife trying to find out new techniques.
Okay.
And so luckily one of the nurses, she was able to show her a new technique, and then so the baby was now latching on with the
Oh, that's
breast and
brilliant.
with the bottle, and so thankfully I didn't have to go home
Yeah,
doing
no,
the
that's
NG
great,
tube,
man.
because that was an experience and a half that I'd never want to experience
Yeah,
again.
mate, it's horrible. And
You know?
watching your baby cry because you're trying to do something
Yeah.
to them.
You have to keep them still. They're trying to kick.
It's
you know?
me holding her like that. They've got my wife poking her with this stick.
Yeah.
And
you know?
it's
And then it's like, I think for me, sort of post all of this in terms of her development, there was periods where she was sitting up for a long time,
yeah.
but then she didn't know how to transition
Yeah, that's what
to
I
left
couldn't
or
articulate
right,
before.
forward, backwards.
So she'd be crawling, but
Yeah.
that was as far as she could get
Yeah.
until the accident happened, or that moment.
Yeah, and so that was tough to take, especially seeing everyone else around her who she's older than,
Yeah.
but you know why this is happening,
Yeah.
but at the same time you can't help but think, you know, and
Shouldn't be happening.
it should, you know, but eventually she started crawling, but we had to go to physio. We had to ask for help.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because we were worried in regards to, okay, she was sitting upright for a long period of time, but the transition. Whereas a lot of parents, stuff just happens. Like the baby just start moving, and
To
you
be
don't even
fair,
realize you was
exactly.
cooking,
And
then
then
she's
all of a
moving.
sudden you're over there.
Exactly.
You're like,
so,
no.
so there's no, it's like no one's trained you to teach your child how to do that. So now we felt like we had to be deliberate to
About
let
everything
in
that
terms
you
of
were
how
doing.
we're helping her.
Yeah.
Hence why we went to physio, and then they're now giving us every month, try these exercises, be intentional, keep supporting, and so on and so forth. And so eventually she started moving. So we're now at the phase. She just turned to the other day on Saturday, and she's not walking yet.
Right.
So right now her thing is she's very scared.
Okay, a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
and everything.
balance. So she stand up straight, but
It's
you
a
can't
massive
move.
learning curve for
Yeah,
her.
you can't go too far away because she wants
catch.
to grab onto you. But yeah, she needs to learn how to sort of find her balance, then eventually
And trust
walking,
herself, I
Yeah.
think, as well.
You know, so did you experience?
Not so much,
Okay.
because the stages did seem to happen.
Yeah,
They were just a little further behind
Yeah.
than you would expect them to be.
yeah,
But what you were saying about the transitioning is right. She could stand,
Mm-hmm.
she could crawl, but going from crawling up to standing
yeah,
is a totally different matter. Even if there was a sofa there for her to climb up,
Yeah.
she'd sit there, she'd look at the sofa, she'd look at you. And I don't know if she was waiting for you to pick her up and put her there, but then eventually she did start,
yeah.
but yeah.
It's not easy, is it?
No, man, it's not. It's not.
Lee, what's going on? 188.
Yeah, but that one's in Kent. It's no good, is it? I am not doing well.
You've already beaten Obi, so that's a good
Come
thing.
on. Has that gone out? It's gone out.
That's just in, but yeah.
That's that headwind, man.
What's that?
Nothing. Look at this. This is like when I play pool, man. Everything's just gone downhill. Jeebus.
So now you've got a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. So what's the day-to-day like of fatherhood for you now?
Oh, I just listen to three girls argue most of the day. Go sit down, stroke the dogs. Try not to listen to them.
Yeah?
Yeah. To be honest, that is most of the time. If the mum's not shouting at the big one, then the big one's shouting at the little one,
Yeah.
or the little one's just shouting. So it's busy. Look, we've got different classes, different groups. My big one's doing her GCSEs at the minute, so
Yeah.
most of the time she's stuck in her bedroom just studying.
What's she in year 10, year 11?
Year 11.
Year 11, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's young. Wrong side of September.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just busy.
So would you say, like, after everything you've experienced, you're in a better place now, or do you still feel like there's an emotional part of you that is still constantly worried, especially about
Yeah.
your youngest one?
Yeah.
In regards to what does the future hold? Like what goals? Or you
100%.
don't think that far ahead?
I try not to think that far ahead.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what she's going to be doing for work. I don't know if she's going to be capable of. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're still just waiting to find out if she's going to be have any brain damage or anything. She had a brain bleed as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a severe one. I think it was like the second lightest.
Yeah.
160. Getting back up there again. I take every day as it comes, to be
Yeah.
fair. Every day.
Do you think? Would you say you're blessed? Would you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I've got 3 women that love me,
Yeah.
who I love dearly, man,
Yeah.
desperately. And it's, I don't know, I still can't get back to being normal. It's changed me.
So, what's normal? What did you consider
don't know.
normal compared to now?
I didn't worry about anything.
Yeah. I hear that.
And now I worry about everything.
Everything.
And it's not even just with the kids, it's everything now.
Yeah.
It's changed something in my head slightly. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with that. So you got to stop using my club, man. All going left and right now.
I just needed to go straight.
That's it. Tell me about
Look
it.
at that.
Oh,
Just trying to get that 188.
you need a compass from there. Yeah, so I don't. I literally do try not to think about the future now,
Yeah.
so I can cope. It's too many questions,
Yeah.
stuff I can't answer. You are the champion.
Of this round.
Ah, is there another one?
Yeah. Still have plenty of opportunities to try and
I'm a long way away though, man.
188. So what's your best today?
I think 180, wasn't it?
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Actually, it's 180.
It went off.
Yeah, it went off, didn't it?
Every decent one went off.
All right. So in regards to being a father, what are some of the things you would consider your own personal failures? Sort of looking back at your whole journey in terms of what would you take responsibility for? Say, you know what, I could have done this better.
Impatience, as I said before.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that is my main flaw. That's the biggest one of all, because patience is the most important thing with children.
Yeah.
It gives them space, it gives them time to understand the things that they're doing, and that is my biggest shortcoming.
Patience.
Patience, man. A lot of people that have got patience don't realise how important it is.
Yeah.
And I watch people with their kids, people at work, any situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think, no, I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be all veiny and angry.
Yeah.
That was a rocket, man.
Yeah, the rocket without a direction.
Yeah, how about yourself?
In regards to personal failures or things that I could be doing better, sometimes I feel like I'm not paying enough attention.
Even when you're there?
Yeah, because I'm caught up in doing too many things, especially those things lead towards having more time.
Yeah.
It might be how to improve financial situations.
Yeah.
It might be being busy at work for whatever reason, trying to climb up the ladder. So it's like all of these things that you're saying you're doing for your family, it's like in the moment.
Are they actually for your family?
Yeah, in the moment, things are happening that you need to be there for. So it's like, I said it to Obi previously, it's present but absent.
Yes.
And I'm trying not to be that person.
That is how I felt about my older daughter on
Yeah.
the previous question.
Mhm.
I think that absence,
Yeah.
even when I was there, because when I did go and see her, I was knackered, man.
Yeah.
All I wanted to do was sleep.
Mhm.
And all the stress of baby And I didn't spend, the time that I did spend with her wasn't quality.
Yeah.
And it was noticed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's like you said, in terms of when you said you felt numb, it's that lack of emotion.
That doesn't go away for a long while, I found.
Yeah,
And that has bled into my relationship with my other daughter.
yeah, yeah. So for me, it's like I've tried to be very conscious in terms of making sure that I'm present, doing things with her, being active, making sure that I'm there for her emotional needs and so on and so forth. So it's like because sometimes you can go into autopilot in terms of thinking that, you know, everything is just happening, but, you know, I try to probe how was school. You know, she'd say good, like what's good about it?
Yeah.
You know, because it can end there.
Give me some detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can literally end there. Okay, how was the maths? It was all right. Okay, what are you struggling with? That's
it. What bits are you doing well at?
Yeah, exactly. So trying to understand from that perspective.
Yeah, I'll go with that as well. That's pit of me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about successes? What do you consider success? Or what does success look like in the future? So when you can say, you know what, once this parenting thing is done, in terms of in your immediate care.
Is it ever done?
Yeah, that's why I just changed it. In terms of in your care, when they become adults, and you can look back and say, you know what, I did a good job. What does that look like for you?
I don't know. As long as my big one keeps going the way she's going, I think I will have that pride. She seems to have a reasonable work ethic, if that makes, like for school work and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I just want her to be happy.
Yeah.
That, I think, would be the best that I can do, is to have happy kids.
Happy, yeah. Because that can be understated sometimes, isn't it? It's like we're chasing all these other things, but the happiness part is important, isn't it?
It's massive. It's, at the end of the day, we're so materialistic now. Everyone's forgotten that the only reason you're here is to be here with the people that you're with, to share your time with the people that you love. And everyone seems to get so wrapped up in working and trying to get this and trying to get that they forget that all of that stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think this has made me realise, this has all made me realise it's given me a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
And I am pretty much totally family orientated now.
Yeah. That's a good thing, no?
Yeah, man.
Or do you feel like being that way holds you back from other things?
No, well, yeah, 'cause I can't take them skiing.
Yeah.
The job I've got now is all about time at home.
Yeah.
It's not about earning money anymore, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So, in some ways it hampers me, but in others, I don't need to go to Spain or skiing to play with my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going too far. I'm trying to spoil them with things when I just want to be with them and get to know them.
Which is the most important thing, isn't it? Because that's what they remember.
That's it.
All the other things don't really, it doesn't really matter when it comes down to it, does it?
Don't even know where that went.
Yeah, I have no idea. Okay, went left.
Come on, be straight.
It's just high.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck off, that's out. That's gone. No, it hasn't. Try that one.
That's a good one.
Come on. What did that do? I really want to beat you, man. I'm slightly competitive. Oh, come on.
You trying to blow it?
Yes. Always blow it.
It's not bad.
Another one. I'm nearly there. Come on, Lee. No.
That's
To
so
hit the
great.
ball, not the floor. Right. Was that the last one?
Yeah, you got one more.
At least that one landed in. Right. Fuck off. Thanks to you, man. That was so close. Before he come up here, when I whack him miles, man.
It wasn't being recorded. That.
No,
That's
of
why,
course
so
not. I do it when it doesn't matter.
It's you again.
Oh, was it me again?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So, in regards to your framework of fatherhood, who did you look up to? Fictional or in real life?
It was fictional. My old man never turned up.
Okay.
So, yeah, when he did, he was a swag.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't a model to look up to then?
No, he was a bit of a plum, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of uncles
Okay.
who were really cool guys.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually look up to anyone per se as a child,
Yeah.
not knowingly.
Yeah.
But when I look back on it, those two uncles sort of taught me to be a man.
Yeah.
And my neighbour across the road,
Yeah.
he did a lot just by being there. They didn't go out their way to spend time with me or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I spent enough time with them.
So what kind of qualities would you say you picked up from them? Like subconsciously, because at the time you're not thinking about fatherhood,
not
isn't
at
it?
the time.
But in terms of looking back, you'd say, you know what, actually that makes sense. Were any of them family orientated or?
Yeah, they were.
Okay.
They're all family orientated. But
Sure.
come on, that's got ya. No, it hasn't. Oh,
Did it record it? Yes, it did.
get in! Ah!
Yes.
I've been trying so hard. Right,
Been
go on, mate.
beaten.
I did it. What's that? 195.
Well, no, that's, yeah, all right. I'll give it to you.
I'm so excited. That's made it all worthwhile. I don't care about nothing else now.
Well done.
Thank
well
you very
done.
much, sir.
Well
You want
done.
them last couple?
Yeah.
Go on, take them.
So you've laid down the gauntlet for
You can do it.
other people. Let's see if I can do this in a minute.
Oh, mate, that would have done it if it had gone straight.
Yeah. All right. To beat Lee, what's that? 195.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Our new leader.
I'm all excited. You watch, the next dude's going to be like,
With shots
what's
like
his name?
that.
Nick Faldo.
But no, just to finish up, appreciate your time. Thank you for coming and
No
sort
problem,
of
man.
sharing your story. Like, just to finish, what would you say to anyone who's experiencing what we've experienced, having a preterm baby? What words of advice? Because there was a lot of support for the mums,
Oh,
and rightly
mate,
so.
yes.
But I just felt like I was just in some
We're
of the
left to
parents'
swing,
rooms.
man.
I'm just there, but obviously they need it. But sometimes, because especially they go to the breast pumping room, for instance, and that's where they all
talk
connect.
to each other, and they connect so strong.
Yeah, but with the men, it's like
bond.
everyone's just isolated and just kind of doing our
It's
own
like
things.
I said to you on the phone, as soon as all the mums went into from my experience, as soon as all the mums went into the nursing bit,
Yeah,
all the dads just went off.
Yeah.
They just went and they've got something to eat, or they went and had
Yeah.
a pint, or they went and did what the things that they needed
Yeah.
to do. But no one ever really spoke to each
communicated.
other.
Yeah. Why do you think that's what's within us as men that we don't want to share?
I don't think that's what it was.
Yeah,
I think, to a certain extent, everyone was so wrapped up in what was happening with their wives and their kids,
yeah,
they weren't so
just-
much thinking about themselves.
yeah. It's true.
And as a general rule, boys tend to do stuff on their own anyway,
Anyway,
as
yeah.
a form of cathartic
Yeah.
exercise. I think that kind of is the way you deal. You've done it,
Look,
you
and
devil.
the game is off.
No.
The game is off. The time is up, and I've probably beaten you.
You've done
but
that.
there's no
200, man.
evidence. There's no evidence. There's no
You've seen
evidence.
nothing.
There's no evidence of that.
Just fell down there, look.
There's no evidence, but it's fine. But yeah, it's quite interesting because that's what I noticed as well. Because I'm very reserved within myself anyway.
Right.
So even situations where my wife is talking to other couples and she's doing
stand
most
back
of
a
the
little
talking.
bit.
Yeah, she's doing most of the talking
That's the
anyway.
same with all boys, I think.
You know. So but yeah, it's no. I appreciate your time.
No problem,
Thank
man.
you very
Thank
much,
you.
and then I wish you all the luck with
And the same with yours.
your kids, and especially with the young ones as well. Thank you very much.
Andrew, thank you.
Thank you.
That was
Just